What's going on, Falcon fans? This is your boy Rakundo coming back at you with another video. And today we're going to recap the Atlanta Falcons versus the Washington Commanders yesterday game. And I'm going to tell you what I saw, what I think about the game. I woke up this morning and everybody, to the sports radio, everybody blaming the coach Arthur Smith for the loss yesterday, right? Yes, he's the head coach, he's the play caller, and he's got to take some blame for the game. But when I tell you that yesterday game was not because of the coach, it's not because coaching lost us the game. That it's not. It's further from the truth. And I'm going to talk about today. I believe it's a lot of blame to go around, but just to put all the blame on the coach, that is not the case. I'm going to tell you why I think that's not the case. And you guys can definitely come in and tell me your feelings and thoughts about it as well. But looking at this game, we're going to talk about definitely the breakdown of the game, what happened, of course, whose fault is it? Because obviously, you know, in my opinion, I don't think it's the coach's fault. I know a lot of people probably believe that, but I'm gonna explain you why I don't believe that it's the coach's fault at all. Um, Not totally anyway. The run game, of course, we're going to talk about the run game. We're going to talk about the passing game, and then we're going to talk about moving forward about this Atlanta Falcon team. Because believe it or not, with all the despair, everybody's so upset about yesterday's loss and all the things that Falcons potentially be doing this season. Where we're at, we can actually be in the lead of the division with the win this weekend in Tampa Bay. So that's where we're going to end off at. But guys, it's not it's not the end, right? We need to stop overreacting about things. This is a young team. They're still learning, still things that we got to get right, right? Like we always talked about. What you see now in October, you want to see something different in November and December. And what we have seen in the last 2 weeks and a half, because I'm going to go back to that second half in Jacksonville. We played Jacksonville in London. From that game on to yesterday's game, we have seen improvement from this team, and I'm gonna talk about it. And you guys can disagree with me if please share your thoughts and your opinions on everything that I'm talking about here. But this is my opinion. This is the way I see the game, and what I seen yesterday. I can give you insight why we lost this game. It's really simple football, in my opinion, why we lost. But you can nitpick and analyze every play call, all the different decisions and things like that. But at the end of the day, the reason we lost the game was really a simple thing that you think about, that all football guys know. And if you think about the numbers, I'll talk about that in just a minute. So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys out here to talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about. Yep, that's right, guys. These Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to get right into it real quick. We're going to talk about the game breakdown, and actually what happened in the game, right, to cause the Atlanta Falcons to get this loss. So let's just start off with this statement here. The Atlanta Falcons won pretty much every statistical category yesterday against the Commanders, right? So, which means, in essence, we outplayed the team that we just lost against, right? That's really what happened. The Atlanta Falcons outplayed. Yes, they outplayed. That means the game plan probably was better. You know, we probably had the better team yesterday, but at the end, we didn't execute, and they did execute, and they made plays. We didn't make plays, right? But yesterday, if you look at the numbers, right, if you didn't see the score, and if you look at the statistical numbers from this game yesterday, you was like, the Atlanta Falcons won this game, and I'm gonna explain right now. So first of all, Atlanta Falcons had 29 more plays than the Washington Commanders did, right? They actually had 79 plays. The Washington Commanders only had 50 plays yesterday, right? The Atlanta Falcons gained a total of 402 yards, a total of 402 yards yesterday to the 193 yards by the Washington Commanders. We had 29 rushing attempts to their 22 rushing attempts. We had 47 passes, probably just a little bit on the high end. I would agree. That's probably more passing attempts that we want to have. Um, to their measly passing attempts that they had, right? They only passed for 121 yards. Yes, their quarterback only passed for 121 yards yesterday. They only had 72 yards rushing yesterday. To our 296 passing, to our 106 yards rushing, right? We had the time of possession of 36 minutes and 23 seconds to their 23-minute and 37 seconds. They was 2 for 10 on third down yesterday. We was 5 for 15, right? So, like I said, start this, this the segment out here. The Atlanta Falcons won every statistical category. We actually had more sacks. They had 3 sacks. 1 sack, Desmond Ridder ran out of bounds. Probably could have thrown the ball away. So it was a sack that he took behind the line of scrimmage where he ran out of bounds. The other 2 sacks, one was a bootleg, a naked bootleg, where the guy defender read it perfectly, took him down for a sack on that. The next one, the third sack, he kind of tried to get out the pocket, but he got sacked right at the this line of scrimmage, so they considered that a sack. So those 3 sacks. So the offensive line did not play bad for his pass protection yesterday, right? We got 3 sacks. Our 5 sacks, we know that we said they're gonna come in bunches. They did yesterday. The Atlanta Falcons was able to get pressure on Sam Howell and get him off his spots and things like that, right? If you look at the distribution, the Atlanta Falcons, Desmond Ridder hit 8 different targets again yesterday in the passing game. So continuation from last week to this week, right? The passing game getting a lot of different people involved. So overall, the Atlanta Falcons had a better statistical game than the Washington Commanders. And like I said, if you don't look at the score, and if you look at that, if you look at just the box score right there, and you be like, the Atlanta Falcons dominate this game. All right. But you notice it's one category I did not mention. It's one category that I did not mention. And you can look back in the history of football. Everybody knows this. If you lose the turnover battle, you're probably going to lose the game, right? That's what it boils down to yesterday, guys, right? We lost the turnover battle. That's what happened yesterday. It's just that simple. Everybody want to nitpick plays and things like that, and Arthur Smith's decision on this and Arthur Smith's decision, and we're going to get into that, right? We're going to get into those decisions when I talk about who fault it is, and when I get to that bullet right there. But what I'm saying is, when you want to talk about what actually happened in the game, to me, it's so simple that you look at the statistical category, it's all about the 3 turnovers. That's what it boils down to. And it's not blaming anything on the quarterback, right? Because we could have had fumbles, we could have had anything. If you turn the ball over 3 times, more than likely you will lose the game, right? And that's what happened yesterday. Now, 2 of the turnovers really hurt us really bad, right? The first turnover that happened in the second quarter, and it was at our 27-yard line. That's not a good turnover because you already put them in scoring position. Of course, they punched it in for 7 for there, right? So now points off turnover, right? The second turnover took points off the board for us, right? Because it was a turnover in the red zone, right? We threw an interception in the end zone. So those 2 turnovers there is really hurt us, right? Those turnovers. Now the last turnover, it was the end of the game 2-minute drive, right? We'll get into that just a minute here. When I talk about, the situation of football that everybody, really harping on today about, the situations at the end of the game, which means I agree with everybody. The Atlanta Falcons still had a chance to win this game with all, the turnovers and all the mishaps that happened throughout this game. However, if you're looking at statistical stats and you're saying, well, the Atlanta Falcons had more yards, they had more plays, it was better third down percentage. Our defense put more pressure. Our defense only gave up 193 yards. How did the Atlanta Falcons lose this game? Then you look at that one statistical stat and you see that it was the 3 turnovers, right? We lost the turnover battle. Once again, Atlanta Falcons have 8 turnovers in the last 3 games. That's not a formula for winning, right? That's where the Atlanta Falcons need to focus most of their energy on, being able to protect the ball. That's that's fundamentally every team. When you're coming into a game, you want to say we need to protect the ball. You want to be able to take the ball away from the team and keep the ball, out of the team hands by your mistakes and things like that. And that's what it boils down to yesterday. It was a turnover battle, and that's where we lost the game at. The Washington Commanders took advantage of every mistake the Atlanta Falcons made yesterday. That's how they was able to win the game, right? That's what happened. So I didn't even mention the punt return, right? Because that's another, in essence, if you want to call that a turnover, all right, you can put that in the category of 4 turnovers, right? Because we changed the field, we switched the field, we kicked the punt off to them, to put our defense back on the field, but they run a punt return back to the 9-yard line, right? So the turnover at the 27-yard line, the punt return back to the 9-yard line, that's 14 points already, where the Washington Commanders did not have to drive the field. They capitalized on the mistakes the Atlanta Falcons made, and that's how they got in the scoring position. So yes, you look at 193 yards, look at 121 yards passing, and you see where the mistakes by the Atlanta Falcons, caused them to get those points and put them into the scoring books, and they come away with the win. That's what happened, guys. It's just that simple, right? We try to analyze. I see so many people talking about the space, the route combinations, and this is so predictable. All this predictable offense put up 402 yards yesterday. That's what it did. That's 100% the fact, right? You can analyze this, you can analyze that play, you can analyze this, but this predictable offense put 402 yards up yesterday. And the fact of the matter is, we just turned the ball over, and we got in positions that we could actually put points on the board. And that's where it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. Now we could talk about situational football and things like that. We're going to definitely talk about that because I have my opinions on those things as well. But what happened yesterday is that the Atlanta Falcons outplayed the Washington Commanders. However, the turnovers, the mistakes that Atlanta Falcons made cost us the game. That's what it boils down to. It's no other way to sugarcoat it. It's no other way simple that if you hold a team to 2 for 10 on third down, 121-yard passing, 72 yards rushing, you would say we won this game. That should be the way you look at it, right? So looking at the statistical numbers, I say the Atlanta Falcons had a good game plan. They came out and did some good things on both offense and defense. But what happened was the too many mistakes cost the Atlanta Falcons this game, right? And that's happening in football sometimes, right? Mistakes, they are big, they're loud, and sometimes you won't overcome those mistakes. Yesterday, the mistakes the Atlanta Falcons made, we could not overcome it. Last week, 2 fumbles, the Atlanta Falcons was able to overcome those mistakes. And we'll talk about this because the reason they was overcome these mistakes, because the situational part, some of the things that failed yesterday, from a situational standpoint, did not really go the way we wanted it to go yesterday. So, the compound, the mistakes we made with the turnovers, the situational football towards in the game, the 2-minute offense, and decisions for going for it on 4th down, it just did not pan out in the favor for the Atlanta Falcons yesterday, right? But last week, all that stuff that happened, the situational football, making the coaching decision, going for it on this down and this down, it worked out for the Atlanta Falcons last week, right? And that's why it's so interesting to me when you hear people, bash the coach for going for it on 4th down or doing this and doing this. It worked, right? It's the same decisions he made, right? This just so happened that it worked. If you can have hindsights, right, and say, well, he shouldn't have went for it there. But he went for it. He's been this aggressive the whole season, going for it on fourth down. He did it in the Green Bay game. It worked, right? Did it in the Texan game. It worked. It just so happened. It just so happened yesterday. The decisions to stay aggressive did not pan out for our team. But the real reason we lost yesterday wasn't because of those situations. It's like I said, if you look down to that one little stat, right, when it with the TO on it, the turnover battle, that's why we lost the game. Because our mistakes was too loud, and now you compound it, you got to be really, really good in the situational footballs and all the calls and all the aggressive. Now all those things are magnified, especially towards the end of the game. And now everybody want to nitpick that part of the game. But the truth of the matter is, it's all about just the big scheme of things. The big thing that happened yesterday was the turnovers. That's that's what we really need to get. Can't go in, and I've been talking about this for the last 3 weeks. Desmond Ritter has to be better with the ball. That's just that simple, right? Not bashing Desmond Ritter at all, but yes, he the one threw the ball. He the one threw the interceptions. But it's not all on him, of course. That's not why I'm here to bash the young quarterback, because he's still young. He's in his 10th start yesterday, still learning. Like I said, if you look at what the Atlanta Falcons offense was able to do yesterday, I thought they played really well yesterday, except the interceptions, right? Some of the execution things, on some of the plays where we couldn't stay on the field, right? We was only 5 for 15 on third down, so there's still some things they definitely need to work on from a standpoint of the Atlanta Falcons, becoming better in some of the aspects of the offense. But to put up 402 yards yesterday, holding the ball for 36 minutes and 23 seconds, I thought that's a good showing, right? Still some things we got to work on. Red zone, red zone offense, right? Third down. Those are some of the things that we definitely look at. But it's still October, right? So if you look at how the offense was looking the first 2 weeks, and then how it looked the last two, that stretch where we really didn't see anything, right? I didn't have an answer how this offense is going to look, right? But in the last 2 weeks, the offense was able to target 10 players, and then this week 8 players, right? So he's spreading the ball around. He's starting to get some continuity with his teammates. You can see guys like Kyle Pitts and Drake London start to get in rhythm, right? Guys that you want to be able to put their ball in the hands, right? Those are the kind of things that you got to see. And then we're starting to see that. So if you're looking at some of the bright things from yesterday, that's what you're going to look. Defense continue to be solid. 193 yards total, 121 yards passing, right? The sacks, we doubled our sack total in one game. That's everything that you want to see from this Atlanta Falcons. But yesterday, it's just simple. It's just simple, guys. What happened yesterday? We lost the turnover battle, right? Lost the turnover battle. We gave up a punt return to the 9-yard line. That's the game. It's just that simple. That's how we lost, right? You can analyze everything else you want to, and I agree with that. It's just like James said here, it's too many mistakes. That's why we lost, right? We outplayed them. If you look at statistics, it says it, right? We outplayed the Commanders yesterday, but they capitalized on every mistake that Atlanta Falcons made yesterday, and they was loud mistakes. That punt return was huge. If you remember 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago, the Atlanta Falcons had the lead, right? Come out to half, they run a kickoff return back on the Atlanta Falcons. The same Washington football team run a kickoff back. The mistakes, special teams was not good yesterday. That was bad, right? That punt return was huge for them. They was able to punch it in for a touchdown. That interception on the 27-yard line by Desmond Ritter was huge, right? That's another 7 points. So that's 14 points, those mistakes. That interception in the end zone took points off the board, right? Even if we would have just put 3 on the board right there, we still in this game. But it took points off the board, right? So those are mistakes. Just like James said, Too many mistakes yesterday. That's why we lost, right? It's just that simple. That's what I'm trying to say. And like I said, I really don't understand so much. Arthur Smith need to go and he do this. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's the same coach last week that orchestrated a 2 minute drive to go down and beat the Houston Texans. It's the same coach. He made this. He called the game last week, and we executed. That's what it happened. But we didn't. We didn't. Those two penalties that we. Though I mean, those two turnovers that we had last week did not cost us the game because remember we did have two turnovers last week as well, right? We were just able to overcome those by situational football. This week we was not able to overcome the mistakes we made, and we capitalized that with some of our situational football where we wasn't on par, right? And that's what everybody want to point to the situational part, football part, right? So the question is today, who's at fault, right? Who's at fault? The team is at fault. That's why. That's what happens yesterday. It's not just one player. I'm not going to sit here and bash Desmond Ritter. Yes, Desmond Ritter threw 3 interceptions yesterday. That's obvious. We saw that, right? We saw what happened yesterday. He threw 3 interceptions. There's nothing else you can say about that. All right. But quarterbacks throw interceptions. That's what happens, especially young quarterbacks, right? That's what young quarterbacks do. Quarterback quarterbacks make mistakes, man. They make mistakes. That's what happens. And at this point, it's game 6. We got a game 7 next week. I'm starting to get to the realization that this is how it's going to be until he started to eliminate some of those mistakes, right? You see the flashes. Like I said, you see the progression. If you didn't see the progression from week 1, from last week to this week, and from week 1 to now, you can see, right? This offense is evolving. It really is. It's going to look like what we wanted to look like, right? That's what you're seeing. It still got some issues in some places. We'll talk about that, but it's starting to look like what you want to look like. But you're gonna make mistakes, man. Bryce Young, his first game, what to to Jesse Bates. That's what happens. C.J. Stroud threw his first interception yesterday, right? Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions yesterday. Brock Purdy finally, showed his blemishes yesterday. It happens, guys. That's what quarterbacks do. It's the defenses on the other side are really good too. So they're gonna make you make mistakes. It's gonna happen in the game, right? You just can't continue to do it. Got to fix that. So we talk about who's at fault, right? I'm gonna put it on the whole team. At the end of the day, if you want to say the head coach because he's the lead man, yes, right. But it's not just that. I thought the Atlanta Falcons as a whole team had a good game plan yesterday. It was a good game plan. If you look at statistics, it shows that they had a good game plan. The situational football, in James says here, coach has no situational awareness. I'm going to disagree with that, right? Because, like I said, if you look at what we did with the Green Bay game situations, we won that game because the situation of football ran a 4-minute offense, 2-minute offense. We was able to get the ball down and score, and our defense came out. So, like I said, when you can look at the game, and they got an old name for it, the Monday morning quarterback, right? Everybody look at the game and they look at the outcome of the game, and then they start to suggest everything the coach could have done better after it already happened, right? That's what everybody always do. That's it's like it goes without saying. Everybody always decide to figure out, well, I would have did this, he should have did this because this didn't work, right? But if you was that way, and what I mean by this is if you felt that way about that call, don't change because it worked. Still be upset about he went for it on 4th down. Don't change it because it worked, right? Because That's what coaches get paid to do. They make decisions. They already know if it don't work, you all going to come at them anyway, right? But they taking a chance. They believe in their team. They're being aggressive. That's what they do, right? So we talk about situation of football. The first thing Arthur Smith you can knock him for is going for it for fourth down in the second quarter of the game, right? It was on the 48-yard line, I think, on the Commander side of the ball. We went for it. We got stuffed. Turn out of that, they went down and put 7 points on the board, right? 17-7, right? That's what the score was, in the second half at the time, right? Go back to the Green Bay game, 4th and 3, same situation. Arthur Smith went for it, and he got it, right? That's what happens. That's what all about being a coach. You make a call, you make a decision, and if it works, we don't have people talking about it Monday morning and talking about what he should have did. He shouldn't have did this, he did that. Because if it would have worked, we wouldn't even be talking about that fourth down that he went for because he got it, right? That's what it's all about, right? So that's one situation. Everybody talk about, and I get it. It didn't work, and we gave us 7 points on that, right? That was in the second quarter of the game, right? The next situation that everybody keeps talking about is the 2-point conversion. Why did he go for two? Why did he go for two? So he went for two last year, and he mentioned that, and everybody was like, that don't mean anything. Well, I heard nobody talking about it last year when he went for two, right? Because guess what? He converted on both of them last year, right? The idea of why he did it, right? Personally, I'm scary. I would have kicked the extra point, put the 7 points on the board, and then went back down and tried to kick it and tie the game, right? But being aggressive, like he's been doing all season long, being aggressive, he's trying to go for the win in regulation, right? The whole ideal is to go for two. You're only down 6. You stop them, get a touchdown, kick extra point. Now you're at 1 point. That's the reason he did it. That's the reason he did it. That's analytics. That's the new age football. Green Bay did it to the New Orleans Saints during their game in week 4, and it worked for them, right? Like I said, Arthur Smith did it twice last year in the Rams game, right? Troy Anderson get a punt block. Lorenzo Carter scoop and score, run it in. We go for 2. We're now 6, right? We get the ball back on a fumble from Cooper Kupp, and what happens? Marcus Mariota throws an interception in the red zone, right? But if we would have got that touchdown, we could have actually won that game, right? You remember that. Tampa Bay, we do the same thing. We get the ball, we stop them. We about to stop them again. Could Grady get a sack, right? And what happens? They call roughing the passer. They get the ball. They continue. But we had a chance that. So he has done it before. So he had history why he did it yesterday. It didn't work, right? Got to tip your hat off to Daron Payne. That was a great play. A great play by Daron Payne. He stuffed Tyler cold at the 1 yard line because I thought he was going to actually score. He stuffed him cold. That's what happened. But that's why he did the 2-point conversion. Do you agree with it? Everybody don't have to agree with it, but you have to understand why he did it. It worked before. It's history in it, right? It's analytics. It's not old school football. I get it. Nobody have to agree with it. And end of the day, we still would have been down 8. We were still down 8 points, which means, yes, now you got to double back and try to go for 2 again to tie the game. But at the same time, you understood why he did it. Do you have to agree with it? No. But that's the reason why. It's not like he's stupid. He don't know what he's doing. He's out of his mind. No. It's history. It's history, guys. That's why he did what he did, right? Now, let's go to the last drive, right? We'll talk about situation of football, right? With the substitution issues, the play coming in late, right? So if anybody watching the game, because I was there, I watched it, Drake London took an injury in that game, right? He came out the game. Now, your personnel is messed up, right? You're running your 2-minute offense. You want your best players to be out there, right? Drake London comes and let him know that he's ready to go. Looking on the sideline, he high stepped a little bit, looked like he's good. He go to the coaches. Now they want to get him back on the field. right? He comes out there late. That's what happened in the situation of football. It's no excuse for it, getting a play in late, but that's what happens. They don't have history of late calls coming in late. It's not a thing. It's not a thing, right? So people acting like, oh, you got to get it right, blew the game, blew the game. That happened. We called the timeout, right? That's not a reason. That's not the reason why Drake London, I mean not Drake London, Desmond Ritter threw that interception, right? And I'm going to give Desmond Ritter a break on that last interception. I believe that last interception was B. John Robinson's fault. I think he went upfield too fast, right? He ran a slant, and right, sometimes that's why running backs, you know, he got great hands, but sometimes he did not run that route like a wide receiver should, right? If you run the slant, you can't let the defender undercut and get back and honor you. That's what happens, right? He hits the slant, but he goes upfield instead of coming in. That's what I saw, right? So that last interception, I'm not 100% putting it on Desmond Ritter, even though he threw the ball, but I believe Bijan cut field too fast and let the defender undercut him in for that. Now that first interception he threw, that's all his fault. He threw it inside to Van Jefferson. Should have been outside. He's throwing out route. You have to throw outside. He threw inside on that. And then the second one he threw in the end zone, that's all on him. 100% all on him. That's what happened. I'm just those picks, but he learning, young guy, going to mess up. That's all good, right? But the situational football thing that everybody wanna harp on, right? He's got to put context in it. The Atlanta Falcons has not had issues with plays coming in late all season and things like that. It just happened yesterday, right? The one with the timeout, he was trying to get Drake London back in the game. Drake London went out with an injury, trying to get him back in the game. Personnel came in late, called timeout. Bad, bad all the way around. You should have told Drake to wait, call the play, come back in the next play. It is what it is, right? That's what happened on that, right? But for everybody to come out today and blast the coach and things like that, it's not the coach's fault, right? It's not Desmond Ritter's fault, right? It's a team loss. That's what it boils down to. A team loss, right? Special teams had a big play in that, right? Special teams had a big play in that. Defense could have held them to field goals when they got the short fields. Did not, right? Even though they got short fields, the defense didn't hold. Not taking anything away from the defense, because the defense played good football yesterday. 193 total yards. Winning on the short field is not advantageous for them. So I understand what happens. All right, we got Desmond Ritter isn't good. Don't have a great arm. Can't make plays. With his leg isn't accurate. He's simply not good. Falcons content creators always making excuses for Desmond Ritter. Nope, that is not true. I'm not making any excuse for Desmond Ritter. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Desmond Ritter surprised me yesterday with his arm. You say he don't have a good arm, but he overthrew Van Jefferson 63 yards down the field. Overthrew him, right? That's another mistake we made. He overthrew two receivers. He had Bijan on the sideline. He had Van Jefferson for a touchdown. When he burnt two defenders as well, right? So nobody's making excuses for Desmond Ritter, right? But the fact is about Desmond Ritter is that he's a young quarterback. Name a young quarterback, probably without CJ Stroud, that is still learning, right? It's still not making mistakes. Bryce Young is having a rough go at it right now, right? Nobody's calling for Bryce Young's head, right? First overall draft pick, he's having to go at it. He's learning the game. Desmond Ritter is doing the same thing, right? So if you're going to give young guys leeway, right? Sam Howell went out and threw 4 interceptions in the game earlier this season, right? Nobody's blasting and going out on Sam Howell, right? Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions yesterday. Nobody's going out. Yes, Jalen Hurts proved himself, right? Desmond Ritter got to prove himself, but nobody's giving, Desmond Ritter or pass or anything like that. Right? He got to stop making mistakes. Got to stop turning over the ball. But if you're gonna give young quarterbacks grace, other young quarterback grace, you need to give him the same grace. That's really what it boils down to, and that's what we have to have. We got to give this young quarterback some grace, man. It is what it is. Desmond Ritter can't handle pressure. That also is not true. I think he handled pressure a lot. I mean, if you go back and look at that after that London game, everybody in their moment came for Drake London. I mean, for Desmond Ritter's head in that game. Everybody came in, including myself. Right? I was upset. Things like that. Everybody came in his head. What did he do? Come out and do the next week with all the pressure on him. He came out and had his best game of his career against the Houston Texans. Right? I think he can handle the pressure. Right? But guess what? It's gonna be roller coaster. It's gonna be up and down, man. But he did not take a regression yesterday from what he did in Houston, right? He did not. The offense looked good yesterday. Besides those turnovers, man, it really looked good yesterday. It really looked good yesterday. So not not ready to. I'm not 100% sold on Desmond Ritter. What I'm saying is he's a young quarterback that's still learning how to play the game, right? We are so quick. This is instant oatmeal. This is microwave society right now. Everybody want to see these guys come out and be, superstar. Maybe he will never get there. I'm not saying that, but he has to have a chance, and that's what you're going to give him, right? He's going to make mistakes. That's what we need to. That's really what we need to do. Penalty at the half. Yep, too many mistakes. James hit it on the nose earlier. He said we just had too many mistakes. That's why we lost the game. But guys, basically what I'm saying is, when we ask who fault it is, just chalk this up as a team loss, man. You know, it's no neither pointing fingers and things like that. Desmond Ritter know he can't throw 3 interceptions, right? And that's not a formula for anybody to win. Everybody knows that. I don't think we need to harp on who said Desmond Ritter, because he knows he can't throw 3 interceptions. So there's no reason to pile on the kid for that, because that's obvious, right? The Philadelphia Eagles took their first loss yesterday because Jalen Hurts threw 3 interceptions. That's what happens when you turn over the ball, right? You're gonna lose. It's just that simple, right? Jalen Hurts knows he can't throw 3 interceptions, right? Patrick Mahomes to turn over the ball, in his last game against the Broncos. The game was closer than it should have been, right? They went up early 17-0, but the turnovers that Patrick Mahomes had in the game, right? Yes, Patrick Mahomes threw 3 interceptions as well, right? But people forget about that kind of stuff, right? Quarterbacks throw interceptions. That happens. It is what it is, man. So, but if you look at the offense, the way it played yesterday, I thought it played well. So who's at fault? It's everybody. The team. They're gonna lose together. We're not going to start to point fingers at everything. We're not doing that. What's going on, Michael? I'm not going to sit here and point fingers at Desmond Ritter. I'm not going to sit here and bash the coach, the same coach that orchestrated a 2-minute drive last week to get the win against the Houston Texans. But this week, he can't coach anymore. Like, it don't make sense. The same coach that orchestrated the drive against the Green Bay Packers, right? But he can't coach no more. It don't make sense to me, right? To scrutinize one play, one game, and start looking at situations and be like that. You can pick out everything, right? Right? You can pick out a play in every game where you be like, well, he shouldn't have did that, he shouldn't have did this. And once again, what I'm telling you guys is, we have the benefit of looking at seeing the result, and come back Monday, right? Do the Monday quarterback and be like, well, he should have did this. I would have did that. I would have did that. That's what we could do, because we're not in the moment, right? Like I said, go for it on 4th down in the Washington Commanders game. Don't get it, right? Go for it on 4th down in the Green Bay game. He gets it. That's what happens, right? But if he would have got it in the Commander game, we didn't even have the conversation. Why he don't know what he doing? Why he going for it on fourth down? Right? We wouldn't even have that conversation. Yeah, you guys have the knowing the outcome and then complain about it after the fact, right? If you didn't like it when he did it, stay with that. Stay with that, even though they converted. Be like, yeah, he got it, man, but he should never went for that. That's a dumb play. Stay with that sentiment. Don't be after the fact like, yeah, he got it. Good call, gutsy call, right? That's what you be like. He aggressive. I like his aggression and all that stuff. That that's fake, man. That's fake. It is what it is. Coaches, they lose their job on the decision they make. They know that. So let him call the game, right? If you're gonna live in your fears and be scared, you're not gonna be confident in how you playing. He's confident in how he play his game. Let him be confident and do what he do. That's how you have to look at it. But everybody coming for the man head after it was a blunder, right? The situational football at the end of the game had to call timeout because trying to get Drake London back in the game, right? That's what happened, right? Going for two, it didn't work. But he has history why he did it. Did it twice last year, it worked. I hear anybody talking about why he went for two last year. I didn't hear it. If you said it, please send me the clip of where people was complaining about Arthur Smith going for two last year when he converted, right? Because like I said, you got hindsight, right? If he would have got the 2-point conversion, everybody was like, oh, all we need now is a touchdown and we win the game. That's what everybody would have been saying because we was only been down 6, right? But since he didn't get it, that was stupid. I don't know what he was doing. You guys know the outcome, and now you're going to complain. That's fake. That's fake. That's really fake bull crap. That's what it is, man. I'm not cursing, so that's where I'm going. This is where I'm at with this. But yeah, so who's at fault? The team. We're gonna put it on the team loss, right? Right. The team as a whole, they outplayed the Commanders. The mistakes that happened, they capitalized on all the Atlanta Falcons mistakes, and they pulled off a win, right? But the Atlanta Falcons have a lot to be proud about this game because they showed a lot of good positive things came out of this game. For instance, we got 5 sacks yesterday. Once again, Desmond Ritter hit 8 different targets. Kyle Pitts and Drake London are starting to get in rhythm with Desmond Ritter, right? We're starting to see that, right? The only negative that we need to really talk about is the run game, right? The run game is not where we want it to be right now. It's not. It's just not where we want it to be. But the fact of the matter is, that's what the defense, our oppositions, is doing. That's their game plan. Their game plan is to make sure the Atlanta Falcons is not going to run up and down the field on them. That's their game plan, right? They got the blueprints from the Lions, right? They got the blueprints from the Lions in week 3, and everybody utilizing that blueprint, right? They're stacking the boxes. That's what they're doing. You can go back and look. It's a clip out there from Brian Baldinger talking about it, right? They got 8 men in the box. They're not going to let the Atlanta Falcons get the run game going. It's not. They're just, we're going to eventually get it. We're going to eventually get it. I believe it's going to start to turn for us because everybody don't have a stout defensive front like the Commanders do, right? They got 4 first rounders on that defense, right? The defensive front, right? So everybody's not going to have it. So we're going to have some games where our run game is going to get to going. It's going to look like it used to look, but they have found the blueprint on how to stop the Atlanta Falcons, and they want to make Desmond Ritter beat us, right? Beat them. That's the goal. We're gonna make Desmond Ritter beat us. However, that passing game is starting to come around. This offense will evolve, right? Everybody knows we're a running team. That's our strength. But if that passing game can get consistent, right, without the mistakes, of course, without the turnovers, right, the run game is going to come back around. That's what I really believe. Reed. The great thing I like about Arthur Smith is that he's actually consistent. He continued to run Even if you only get 1 yard, you get 2 yards here. He continue to run. The reason why, because you have to make them know that you still willing to run, right? A lot of time teams abandon, the running game because they are not getting any yards and things like that. One thing about Arthur Smith, he does not do that. 29 rushing attempts is not balanced because we had 47 passing yards. I do understand that, but 29 rushing attempts is still really good for this team. So having those 29 rushing attempts is what I liked. I like the rushing attempts that we had. We broke a couple big runs there, but Bijan with 37 yards rushing, it's not going to cut it, right? Tyler with 51 yards. We have to do better than that. Run game's got to get back going. It's only going to help out the passing game, but when their game plan now is to stack the box. And I mean, if you're looking at it, go back and just look at a screenshot. You'll see about 8 or 9 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. That's their game plan, guys. That's what they're doing. Um, the game plan is to make sure that this dynamic run game that the Atlanta Falcons have shown, especially early in the season, they're trying to stop it. That's their game plan. So um, this is one of the things that we definitely need to look. Some people figure that the blocking is not as good as it was last year. I'm not going to 100% say that. I just believe that they're more determined this year to 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 stop the run than. And you got to factor in that Marcus Mariota was part of that run game last year as well. Desmond Ritter is not that type of quarterback. He's not a run quarterback like a Lamar Jackson, like a Marcus Mariota. Yes, he has athleticism. Arthur Smith will call run plays for him, but overall, he's not that type. So this offense has evolved a little bit. It's more of a passing, more of a balanced kind of offense because I can't recall Marcus Mariota putting up 300-yard games last year, right? That just did not happen. Desmond Ritter did it twice already this season, so this offense has evolved, but that run game has to have a place where it can actually be good. So that's what we got to see. Let's see here. The Falcons O line sucked. The Falcons O line been playing better. Remember, we was getting sacked a lot. Um, 3 sacks yesterday. I talked about those. Those 3 sacks, none were really on the offensive line yesterday. Until they get rid of the coach, this team will continue to be subpar. Don't disagree. I disagree with that 100%. But that's your thought about it. Don't agree with that. Um, this is why we pass on first down. Yes, yes, I agree. I agree with you. Um, if the play calling suck, how can the running game pop? Don't think the play call sucks. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion. I don't believe that. We have some of the best players in the league, yet we below 500. Why? Poor play calling. I mean that's your opinion. That's your opinion. I don't believe that. I think the reason why we got a young quarterback. That's why I believe we're not putting up the points that we should put up. I believe we got a young quarterback. That's just it. If you look at a team and look at a team like the Detroit Lions, for an example, right? Um, I kind of think they're like a mirror of the Atlanta Falcons in a way, right? I actually think our defense is better than theirs. The difference between the Detroit Lions and the Atlanta Falcons, in my opinion, is their quarterback, right? Jared Goff is playing at a really high level right now, and he's a veteran quarterback, right? He's seen it all. Guy that took his team to the Super Bowl, seen it all. Right now, we have a young quarterback. We have a young offense. All throughout all our best players on offense are young, and this is my opinion, right? You guys can take it with a grain of salt, right? Hey, I'm not a coach, right? I'm not a GM. I'm not none of this stuff. I'm just a real Atlanta Falcon, fan. That's what I am. So I'm giving my opinion here, of course. But I believe that we have a young quarterback, and that's the reason why our offense is not doing some of the things that we wanted to do, right? I think if we had a veteran quarterback, in there that was more seasoned, right? I think the offense will look a little bit better. I don't think it's play calling. I really don't. That's just my opinion. I think the plays, um, like I said, I don't think if you put up 402 yards in a game, right, you can go look at other teams and see how many yards they're putting up, right? Um, the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? They haven't put up 400 yards in a game in like 2 years, right? So, you like you take that for what it's worth, right? That's what I'm telling you. Like if you can put up 400 yards in a game, um, the offense has some potential. It's just young, man, and the young quarterback is still learning, right? Making mistakes and things like that. So I definitely don't think it's play calling. Could the play calling be better? I guess, but it's that's not the reason why we're not putting up the points we're having, right? Um, you got to give these guys a chance, right? This is the first season that this team has had an identity where they had the money, they put a lot of investments in this team, and this is the first season we can actually see where it goes, right? It's just the sixth game of the season. We got 11 games left. Let's see where we're at the end of the season, and then we can make those kind of bold and decisions on where this team's at. That's just my opinion, guys. I respect everybody else's opinion as well, and at the end of the year we come back to the same question, the same thing, and say that, yeah, you're right, that the Atlanta Falcons need to change play callers and things like that. But I'm not ready to go there yet. Like I said, when the offense put up 402 yards, um, back to back weeks, I think it's a lot to be said about that. The weapons are there. You're right, and they starting to get rhythm. That's what we're starting to see, right? It's October. Let's look back in 4 weeks from now and see where this offense at, right? Then we can start making those kind of things. I think it's early. It's too early to start saying that. We got a young quarterback, but I just believe that we're still a year away from this Atlanta Falcons team being the team that we wanted to be. Yes, I still believe that we should have a chance to get into the playoffs. Still believe we got a chance to actually um, win this division, right? But this is where, as Atlanta Falcon fans, we need to start to take a different look at this team and realize that our quarterback play is going to be up and down all season. It's just that it is, man. I mean, Desmond Ritter plays his best game last week. Come back, plays well, but have 3 turnovers in the game. Right? It's gonna be up and down. It's gonna be like a roller coaster. That's what we need to expect. That's what we need to start to understand and grasp, right? And look at the little things, in this team and see how it's improving that way, and try to get wins and things like that. That's what we need to look at. But you know, making these bold declarations after the first 6 weeks, where it's a lot of other teams that's way worse than the Atlanta Falcons right now, and you know nobody's ready to jump ship on everybody that quick. I'm just not there with that. So um, I and but everybody have their own opinion, guys. At the end of the day, is what the players believe in, right? Because the culture, it's all about the culture. It's about the players going to rally behind the coach, each other, and things like that. And we can see with this season. This season's not over. It's not even close to being over. All right, the Atlanta Falcons win on Sunday. They're number 1 in the division. It's just that simple, right? And the sky's falling, and everybody wants to get rid of the coaching staff and all that crap, right? But if we win on Sunday, we're number 1 in the division. That's just how week to week it is, and everybody temperament. Like I said, everybody wants stuff so quick and so fast and things like that. In reality, it's a process. It really is. Long season going. Like I said, in November, let's see what Atlanta Falcons at. Let's see how we have improved, right? We want to be better, in November and December than we are right now in October. That's what we want to see, right? So we want to see progress. We want to see improvement. Um, and I can tell you from the London game to yesterday's game, the offense has played a lot better. That's the fact, right? Now we didn't get the outcome we wanted yesterday, but the offense played a whole lot better yesterday. Um, and one thing about when people say play calling and things like that, um, the other team has a say in your plays, how they execute it, right? Right? They just do. They have a say in it, right? I mean, you call the perfect play, and the other team will blow it up because they have assignments, right? If they play their assignments right against this offense, they supposed to stop your play, right? So sometimes it's about execution both ways, and sometimes you can say a play is bad, but it just got blown up because the defender played it better. That's just how it is. That's a fact. That's football, man. But you know, 79 plays, 402 yards. Um, I can't. I'm not ready to be all out on this team. So let's see here. We said we got the best players in the league. Yes, I am for real, man. That's me. That's me. We blew points trying to go for 2 point, 2 point. That 2 point conversion didn't factor in the game. That 2 point conversion did not factor in the game. We had the ball 3 more times after that. 3 more times after we went for 2. We had an interception, turnover on downs, and another interception. After we went for 2, they didn't score anymore. So you everybody complain about a 2 point conversion. That wouldn't matter. We had the ball 3 more times after a 2 point conversion. Complaining about a 2 point conversion, it just means you're just trying to find something to complain about because that didn't have factor in the game at all. Right? We would have been down 7 instead of 8. That's the only thing different would have happened if we went for the extra point instead of going for 2. But we got the ball 3 more times. We had an interception, a turnover on downs, and another interception. That's how the game ended, right? So everybody talking about the 2 point conversion, that had no play in the outcome of the game at all. Did not, right? We would have been down 8 instead. We was down 8 instead of 7, right? Still had a chance to go a touchdown and tie the game with another 2 point conversion. That's where we would have been. But the fact that we had the ball 3 more times, right, and we turned over on downs, and then turned over again, right? That's why we lost the game. Like you guys is trying to put it all on trying to go for 2. That 2 point conversion doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things. It didn't have an outcome of the game. It didn't. I get it. You guys don't see why he went for it, but he explained it. He explained it. Went for it twice last year. Nobody complained about it last year when he went for 2. I don't remember people complaining about it because you know what? He converted on both of them. So like that's a mute point. The 2 point conversion is a mute argument because it doesn't matter on the outcome of the game. If you anybody can explain to me how kicking an extra point there and we still got the ball 3 more times and then put any more points on the board, how does going for an extra point change the outcome of the game? Can anybody explain that to me? That's all I'm asking. If anybody can explain to me, put an extra point on the board right there, and defense going out stopping them 3 times in a row, we get the ball 3 times and don't put any more points on the board, the 2 point doesn't matter. So it's a mute point to even talk about it. You say Arthur Smith sending players late. 100% happened on that. That's true. He explained that. I saw it. I was there at the game, trying to get Drake London back in the game, man. Drake London went out with injury. He was trying to get him back in the game. That's bad. That's bad operations. That's a check. That was bad operation at the end of the game. We forced to call timeout. That was bad. I agree with you on that. But that's not a reason to be like, oh, he don't know what he's doing, right? That has never happened before. We cannot talk about other teams. Our focus on the Falcons. I agree with you 100%. That's what I always talk about. I don't care about other teams, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's not over, man. We be three. We win yesterday. Yesterday was 100% a winnable game. If you look at the statistics yesterday, the Falcons outplayed the Commanders. Outplayed them 100%. Right? Look at the statistics. We beat them in every category except one, the turnovers. That's why we lost. They capitalized on every mistake the Atlanta Falcons made. And we didn't capitalize on anything. They didn't have any mistakes yesterday. They played a good, solid, even though they didn't gain a lot of yards, right? Out of their 193 yards, their 121 passing, they made no mistakes yesterday. The Atlanta Falcons made too many mistakes, including situations, right? You talked about the going for it on fourth down in the second quarter. Bad. Didn't execute that, right? The end of the game, they execute that, right? The three turnovers, they execute that. I agree. It was a winnable game, but it was a winnable game. That's what happened. Defense always keep us in the game. Defense been playing like that all season long. Sorry, Kondo, the 2-point play and not going for the field goal, coaching. You know, no, it's not. It's a decision. All going for two is just a decision. That's all it is, man. It's a decision. Like I said, you went for it twice last year, and he got it. It's a decision. That's all it is. Either you make a decision or not. You can get fired for it. I agree with that, but it don't make me you a bad coach because you decide you're gonna go for two, and you can be down 6 instead of 7, right? Like that does not make you a bad coach because you make a decision for going for it, right? That's your opinion. That's what it boils down to, man. It does not mean it's a bad decision. Not bad coaching. I never said it would change the outcome of the game. For example, poor coaching. This is the NFL. Who gets to delay a game on this level? A lot of people get delayed games. You can go back and look. It happens. It happens. Now I get it. We upset about yesterday's game. It was bad. It was bad operation yesterday. But that's not a trend though. Explain when has that happened in another game? When has that happened in another game? It happened yesterday. It happened yesterday. That's what happened. But I would argue if we don't turn the ball over, we don't give up a punt return to the 9-yard line, we won't even have to worry about and talk about any of that stuff. You appreciate my awesome? Hey, dude, I am a glass half full guy today. After the London game, I was opposite. I couldn't see a a light at the end of the tunnel. I can see it now, right? And it has changed. It has. I don't see this team, you know, on the top level with other teams right now. I think we still a year away. I do. So I'm going to be honest about that. I think this team still is a little young. Um, it's still not what they need to be. I think the defense is ready to go, but I think that from an offensive standpoint, um, because of our young quarterback, we still like a year away. So, but I still think we can win this division. I still think we can make noise in the playoffs, right? Because then you're in a tournament. Anything happens in the tournament. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at on it. Um, you cannot live off last year. This is NFL. Not living off last year. I hope the other teams ain't sleeping on the Falcons because they looking at last year either. I really don't. One of many bad decisions. Okay, hey, yes, he made a bad decision. Whoop de doo, whoop de doo, right? Right? How many bad decisions he made last week when we won the game? I didn't hear anybody talking about bad decision last week. I didn't hear anybody. I didn't hear anybody talking about bad decision in the Green Bay game when he went for it on fourth down there. All right, I didn't hear about that. Like, come on, man. Like you guys living in the moment. I'm looking at the big picture, right? We lost the game. We 3-3. Look at the big picture though, right? It's not a trend. You don't have late game issues every game. Like he's not Dan Quinn, right? That was Dan Quinn, right? Arthur Smith does not do Dan Quinn. He don't do that kind of stuff. That's not a trend. Like, give me another example besides yesterday's game. Give me another example. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing where you're coming from, but it's not a trend where late game, delay game, bad substitutions. You know, that's not a thing. So it does happen. Give me another example, please. Please give me another example. Let's be real. The Falcons on all phases of the game. That's a reflection of coaching. What did defense do wrong yesterday? What did defense do wrong yesterday? I get it, man. Some of you guys are out on Arthur Smith, just like a lot of guys are out on Desmond Ritter, right? Some guys out on Desmond Ritter before he even started this season, right? A lot of guys out on Arthur Smith because they don't like it. They just you already sold, right? I'm not that guy. So you're not going to convince me that the coaching staff is bad and the quarterback is can't be fixed. I'm not here for that today. I'm glass half full guy today. Positive things, positive vibes, right? We lost the game and that's where we're at. You say I'm blaming the quarterback, making excuses for a coach, not blaming the quarterback. I just said go back. You just got here, Trey Cooper. You just got here, and I said who fault is it? I said the team fault, the whole team, not the quarterback fault. That's what I said. The whole team fault, not just the quarterback. Even though the quarterback threw those three interceptions, you have lost 3 games. You need any more examples? Yep, we're the only team in the league has lost 3 games. We're the only team. Best the best coach in the NFL have won 1 game this season. Hey man, sometimes it's the NFL. I think Ritter is a good quarterback. He needs more time on the bench to learn. You want to bench him? That's not an answer. You don't bench. You got. He got to play, man. He got to play. Let him play. Let him play. Let him play. That's what we got to do. Let Ritter play. All right, guys. I'm about to end it off, and I'm going to go to this last thing. Moving forward, right? Because I got a lot of doom and gloom people on here. You know, don't gave up on the team. It was just week 6, so we got 11 games left in the season, and but the moving forward, we have seen progression of this offense. The offense has actually played better over the last couple of weeks. Yes, we had 3 turnovers yesterday, but I thought the offense looked really good. I thought it looked in rhythm. I thought you can see the rhythm between the quarterback and his playmakers starting to develop. The only issue we need to get back to being able to run the ball, right? But that's how defenses are playing us. They're actually forcing the quarterback to pass more. That's why you passes. However, Arthur Smith is trying to stay balanced. He ran the ball 29 times yesterday, trying to keep the defense honest, So they won't tee off on the quarterback, with the pass rush and things like that. So those are positive things that we can take from it. From the offensive standpoint, that's moving forward. Hopefully we can see more progressions, less mistakes from our young quarterback. That's what we definitely want to see. If we eliminate some of those mistakes, I think this offense will start going in the right direction, right? From a defensive standpoint, I think the defense is playing right where we need to play. They finally got on the sack board, right? They doubled their sack totals in one day, right? If we can start to see, 2 or 3 sacks a game, right? That number 40 that I was looking for from a sack total still is alive, right? We still have a chance to reach 40 sacks this year. I know it's going to be tough, but that's moving forward. Those some of the things, bright things we seen from the team yesterday, right? When we look at the game as a total, it was a winnable game. We turned the ball over 3 times. Bad situational things happen, towards the end of the game, right? All things that can be fixed, right? It was nothing from this loss yesterday that the Atlanta Falcons can't fix, right? That's the positive of all of this, right? It's just week 6, one game. It's an NFC game. I know it's a big game, but if you want to put it in perspective, if the Atlanta Falcons can go to Tampa Bay and win on Sunday, divisional game, they'll be first in the division, right? That's where we're at. That's positive. That's moving forward, right? The defense is continuing to trend up. That's good. Offense is starting to look better. It's starting to create that balance that personally I was looking for. The running game need to start to come back, a little bit more towards, putting up the 150 yards a game. We start to get back around that. The passing game, get back to about 250 yards. I think that's ideal. If we get to that point where the running game and the passing game is balanced from an offense standpoint, and we start to limit some of the critical mistakes. I mean, turning the ball over, not just Desmond Ritter. We had 2 fumbles last week. That Desmond Ritter, it wasn't his fault on those, right? Bijan fumbled, Jonnu Smith fumbled, right? So 8 turnovers in 3 games is not a formula for winning at all. Even though we lost the turnover battle last week, we was able to pull out a win because the situational football was really clean last week, right? This week, we had 3 turnovers, and the situational football was not clean. It was bad, right? So that compounded the turnovers in itself, right? That's what happened. But moving forward, the Atlanta Falcons, sky's the limit for these guys. They can actually still see everything in front of them, right? The division is still there for the giving because the Saints keep losing, right? They got a veteran quarterback, but I don't think he's, a tier above Desmond Ritter. I think he's right there, just as playing, in the middle, just like Dez is. You got Baker Mayfield, another no draft pick. We're playing well, but they stumbled last week, right? So we got a chance to actually go up and actually be the number 1 seed in our division. We'll have 2 games up, right? One up on Tampa Bay. Of course, we already beat the Panthers, so we'll definitely be that number 1 seed. Gotta like it. That's moving forward. Let's look at some of your comments before I get out of here. What's going on, Millie Mills? Correct. The defense is doing well. The defense is balling out. They need to continue. Hopefully, man, they still close to the trade deadline. Maybe they make a deal with a guy like Danielle Hunter. They bring him in. Defense, man, they could be one of the top defenses in the league if they were to do something like that. We do got money for that. Bull on the other live screen said play calling is as long as that mustache. Maybe he need to trade the mustache. I don't think he gonna get rid of it, man. Maybe that's what he need to do. Recondo, the running game will never break out unless coaching is elevated. Okay, man. You know the number 3 rushing attack last year was on the same coach, right? You do know that, right? So explain that. Explain how we had the number 3 rushing attack last year, and we got the same coach this year. It has nothing to do with coaching, man. I know you don't like the coach, man. I get it. I get it. Hey, thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate it, man. I love you. I love the conversation between all you guys coming in. Good chat, but that's why I wanted to have my own platform. I agree, Mills. Mariota had a good deal right there. Running game was so good last year. I agree with you. That and he actually mentioned that day, but this offense is kind of evolved, right? Because how many 300-yard games did Mariota throw? So right, so this offense has evolved. So it don't mean it doesn't need to be top 3 running attack. Be in the top 8, right? Top 8 running attack, more balance. Like I said, man, you pick freaking Drake London and Kyle Pitts in the top 10. You need to give them the ball anyway. That's just the way I feel about it. So you need to be more balance. So I like that. Um, but sky's the limits, guys. We still where we want to be. Not ideal. It's definitely not ideal. It's definitely not where I expected to be. I thought we was gonna be 4-2 after 6 games, right? But I picked us to beat the Commanders. That didn't happen. Um, but we got a chance to make up for it this week. Going down to Tampa, big division game. This game counts twice, believe it or not, because it is division game. So you gotta love it. I can't wait. Actually going to that game myself. I'll be down there to see it live. Never been to Tampa Bay Stadium, so it's going to be exciting to go down there and see that. But that's where we're at. So guys, definitely like to come on here, give my point of view. I know everybody else around the Atlanta Falcon fan base is blaming the coach. I'm not one of them. So that's my perspective. Glad to glad to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. And this is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Let's see here. Before I get out of here, Miller said, I must admit, they spread the ball a lot more this game. We just had too many errors. Many of the errors was not Ritter's fault. So you're not blaming Ritter. That's awesome, man. That's good. That's good for the kid. Because he need a little heat off his back, right? He really do. He really needs some heat off his back. But I'm gonna tell you, 2 of those picks was definitely his fault. That last one, I put it on Bijan. I think Bijan cut up. But those other 2, they all on Ritter, man. 100% on Desmond Ritter. So that's the way I look at it. You can't throw the ball up in the air in the end zone. Now he mentioned that him and Drake had a miscommunication issue on that. You know, that happens. Miscommunication. He tried to give Drake a chance. He threw it up. Right. That's that first one he threw. He threw that inside. Van Jefferson was out route. You can't throw out routes inside. It's never. That's Tom Brady. Tom Brady, his last couple seasons, he kept getting pick sixes because he kept throwing that ball inside on the out route, and they kept picking up. Thanks, man. Thanks for describing. Peace out. Hey, that's all I got. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.